Alabama's defense returns to prominent and dominant glory in 2024, to be continued in 2025. Stick around. This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be, and roll damn tide. I got some great news today, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, welcome to Way Offsides. I should be more professional. Welcome to our show, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome to Way Offsides, your favorite sports talk show, slightly unhinged and off base, heavy on the Bama over here. Exactly how you want it. Very heavy on the Bama. And look, less than a week ago, everything looked pretty bleak in Tuscaloosa. Not necessarily Tuscaloosa, in Tampa, as Alabama dropped. Let me think of how to say this. Alabama sharded themselves in front of the country after fans went to bat for their favorite team, saying they should have been in the college football playoff. And they came out and looked like absolute hell against Michigan. But since then, some really interesting things have happened. Yeah. Alabama's portal window closed today, Sunday the 5th. Actually, I think it's open till midnight. But either way, it's about to be closed until spring portal time. Thank goodness. Mr. Portal has been hard at work. Very hard at work.
Raiding our team of backups.
Yeah. And Hayes Fawcett hasn't missed an opportunity to post a 4th and 5th string guy. Not one. And so you guys that follow us on X, a little word of advice. When you see On3 and Hayes Fawcett and all these people posting the Alabama picks, Agiye Hall entered the transfer portal again. That guy was on Alabama's 2022 squad. Guess what?
That was 3 years ago. The one from that year.
Yeah, the one that year, because they know you'll share it and get pissy. So don't share it, don't comment, don't engage, and eventually they'll stop. There's a reason that
all their backups are transferring.
Yeah. Oh no. What's going on in Mobile? What's going on?
Mac has transferred.
Some guy that wasn't on the team since October is entering the transfer portal. Oh wow.
October of 22.
Guys, relax.
Calm down.
And I'm going to tell you why, because Alabama so far has had actually a really good portal season. And we're not really talking about the additions. They've had some great additions. They've been strategic about what they're doing, who they're getting.
Agreed.
But really, in terms of who they're keeping, Jihad Campbell has declared for the draft. And
we always knew that was coming.
Yeah, he's going to be a high second round if he has a good combine.
He was a baller all year.
Yeah, he'll squeak into the first round. Great dude. Thank you for your service, Jihad. But moving on.
Say what we did about Michigan. The defense showed up in that game, and Campbell was an animal that game.
Exactly.
I mean, he was all over the field because he had to be, because Milroe was handing the ball back to Michigan, at a regular clip.
Sure. You're absolutely right.
3 times in 4 plays. But
look, if Alabama fans have anything to be excited about coming out of 2024, it's that defense. Progressively, as long as nobody was using the shovel pass, progressively throughout the season, Alabama's defense, specifically that secondary, which if you go back before the season, we talked about it a lot. We were a little nervous about what that was going to look like with the secondary being so young and vulnerable.
But he looked vulnerable at times.
They were those first couple of games, but once they got their personnel figured out back there, who was going to be where, Alabama's defense absolutely looked good. So good that, and I'm looking at ncaa.com/stat/football, current teams, the overall total defense rankings per the end of the season. Would you like to guess who's at number 1, Jeff?
Well, I mean, the obvious guess is Alabama, right?
It ain't Auburn. It's Alabama. Alabama's defense. Yes, are ranked number 1 in total defense, giving up a staggering 2.88 yards per play and 190 yards per game average. Now, of course, that doesn't tell the whole story. It's a little skewed. Alabama did struggle with Vanderbilt. They struggled to stop Oklahoma's offense. They struggled a couple of times. They struggled. The defense played pretty well against Tennessee, but you can only ask your defense to do so much when your offense isn't helping them out.
I mean, they turned Tennessee over 3 times in one half. Yeah, what else do you want your defense to do when you're off, and then your offense blows it? But it's like, what else do you want from the D? Even the Oklahoma game, Michael, if you remember, I mean, we only gave up 17 points that game.
Yeah, that's true.
Seven of their points came off a Millie pick, 6. But if you can only give up 17 in a road SEC game, you should win the game.
And then you look at the ReliaQuest Bowl. How many?
It should have been 28 zip in the first quarter.
Yeah, how many?
28-0.
Absolutely. How many of Michigan's points came off of short field because the offense was turning over the ball?
What, 16 of them?
Even then, they only got 1 touchdown out of turnovers. The rest of them were field goals because of the defense. Kane Womack is him, boys and girls. He knows what he's doing. He's got a couple of studs coming in this class. I'm sure that inside shovel pass thing will get figured out. Plus, Alabama's got some freaking studs who have announced that they are returning for the 2025
And what did we
season.
just say, Cotton? Before we started the recording, I said, you'll notice there are no defensive starters running to the portal. The only guys you see portaling are backups.
That's
guys
right.
that ain't good enough to play. Gee, Modus. And then, I mean, he realized in like week 5, I'm not good enough, so I'm out of here.
Deuces. Adios.
And then he was given the title of top defensive player in the portal.
Wacka.
Okay. Have fun in
Defensively, Alabama now will return the following starters that we thought could or could not. They actually had the choice to leave. Damani Jackson being the biggest news of the day.
Big.
That's huge. Damani had a great season. Definitely wasn't looking at being anywhere near the first round, but he can come back and build a lot. He can make himself a lot of money by coming back. I'm really excited about Damani Jackson, especially with how that secondary looked last season. Bray Hubbard looked amazing. It's just going to be. But to make it even better, Keon Sabb is coming back. Let's go, baby. Let's go. The secondary guys.
Good safety play right there with Bray and Keon Sabb back there. That's going to be a good couple of safeties.
That secondary in Tuscaloosa is going to be.
I mean, Dijon Lee's coming in. Damani's back. It's going
to be something.
Zabian's got a year under his belt now. He's a little more comfortable. Yeah. He'll grow into his body a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
Mincy is going to. I mean, we've got some bright.
We got some
spots
folks
there. We got some bright spots there.
Everybody was kind of, I saw this a lot during the season. People were worried about the pass rush. They're not finishing. They're not doing this. It wasn't as aggressive as we're used to. We didn't have that one guy, that Tim Williams-esque guy, or who was it? Dallas Turner, Will Anderson type player. But Alabama is now returning a very talented, beefy defensive line, as well as bringing in Kelby Collins, the Florida transfer. Tim Keenan has announced that he will return.
That's big.
Very big. LT Overton is returning.
He was our best lineman at the end of the year. Sorry. He was our best line. Him and James Smith were playing the best at the end of the season.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to bring up. If you watch the Michigan game, despite the offensive I'm trying to think of a funny word to call it. We'll just say shit show that happened. The one bright spot that I noticed defensively in that game was the coming out party for James Smith. That guy is going to be a wrecker, and he
dominated that game.
A lot of issues for a lot of people next season, and I am so happy he stayed. Him and Quay Rusall came together. They're out of Carver. In Montgomery, both of them 5-star guys. I am so happy he stuck it out. I was really worried about both of those guys last year when Nick Saban retired, but they stuck it out, man. And On top of that, there's dogs on this defense that aren't even seeing the field.
Coming back, Jefferson coming back. There's
Deontay
our two linebackers
Lawson,
right there. There's our two inside
Jefferson
linebackers
coming back, and then you tack on what some of the stuff that's already there. Everybody's been like Keon Keeley this, Keon Keeley that. I've seen nothing yet about Keon Keeley going into the portal. I got a feeling that's probably not going to change. He's going to stay, and I think he might be that guy. I think he might be the guy.
They think highly of him. I mean,
yeah, they do.
They think pretty highly of him. I believe they think pretty highly of him.
And then,
Justin Jefferson was your guy last year a good bit.
I loved him. Yeah.
You really liked making plays last year. And so the fact that he's coming in knowing, all right, I'm playing alongside Deontay here. I'm not spelling somebody. I'm not in a rotation.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. And somebody's going to be rotating with me and not vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you watched last year, the biggest thing I saw that Georgia game, that second half, the defense really struggled. The one piece that I saw that was missing was the pressure on Carson Beck, because in the first half, a lot of that was coming from Jefferson. Yeah. And now he's coming back. He's going to stay another year. So I have no reason, and I'm saying this with complete unbiased, I have no reason to suspect that Alabama's defense will not be better than it was this season going into 2025. And that should scare the hell out of a lot of people.
Well, and you got to think the offseason will be completely different than last year.
Yeah.
The offseason, there'll be an offseason program. It'll be DeBoer's offseason program. It won't be a situation of trying to keep a team together and trying to kind of tiptoe around certain things just because you don't want to piss anybody off, right out of the chute. But all that's done. When that clock hit zeros versus Michigan, all that ended. Yeah. And that moment became DeBoer's deal from here on out. There's no more Saban guys. There's no more, you helped the team to hold the team together, so we got a little bit of loyalty to you. All that ended when that clock hit zeros against Michigan. Everybody got a clean slate right then.
Yeah. So tell me in the chat, guys, make sure you're telling. I want to know who you're most excited to see next year defensively for Alabama. Of course, it's not going to be Malachi Moore. Jihad Campbell's going to be gone. Those are two big hits, but
shout out to Malachi playing the whole season, really, when he should have had surgery probably way earlier in the season.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Playing hurt for a good chunk of the season. And then as soon as we were out of the playoffs, he was surgery next day. Like he waited until it was definite we were out, and then he finally went under the knife.
Did you know if they made it, he was going to go.
He was playing. He was freaking playing.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what it was, he was going to play.
Malachi Moore might be my favorite player on the team last year. And I know that he caught a lot of backlash at the Vandy game.
Did.
But
it was deserved.
Some of it is deserved, yeah. But I also kind of understand it. He's trying to uphold that standard. That Nick Saban
was overreaction.
You can see it slipping.
Yeah.
He
deserved a little bit of heat for that. But, I mean, people are talking about kicking him off the team and Damian Harris going on national TV saying Nick Saban would have ripped the C off his jersey. And I was like, how do you know? Nick Saban didn't use C's on your jersey. So how do you know what he would have done with it? You don't know. So shut up.
These are the same people saying that Kalen DeBoer's on the hot seat and should be fired.
Get out of here. Paul Feinbaum. Big shock.
Yeah, I've told you about him before. Yeah, why are you listening to Paul Feinbaum? If you're listening to Paul Feinbaum, you're an idiot. There's no other way around it. If you put any value or stock into what that guy says, he's never played a snap of any kind of football in his life. I doubt he's played a backyard game.
He's built a career off being a tool of basically just saying whatever he knows will get reaction from all the riled up BAMs and all the Barners, but that's it. All his predictions are wrong all the time. Everything he says and all his guarantees. Lane Kiffin called him straight out on national TV last year. That was hilarious.
Yes.
What are you good at? He goes, like, what are you really good at? It was like crickets. I was like,
oh yeah, we played it on the show.
That was awesome.
It was beautiful.
That was too funny.
It was beautiful. But hey, look, I'm excited just because I like the Kane Womack hire. I felt like Nick Sheridan was a little bit of a settle hire. Yes. But the Kane Womack hire, I think that one was strategically thought out, because not only is Womack bringing a new system that he's proven works, but it's the same system that Nick Saban was trying to move to. But Womack also has those recruiting ties in state where, we really didn't have anything yet. And I think that those did not pay out in the 2025 class because everything was too new. I think long-term, those are going to – you're already seeing guys in the 26 and 27 class that are committing to Alabama. I think you're going to see a lot more of those, especially when they see what this Kane Womack DeBoer team looks like. You got to think they go on the road to Tallahassee first week of the season. They go down there and put a whooping on FSU. That's going to garner a lot of attention.
They're going to put a whooping on FSU because the man moves in tomorrow.
Oh,
Keelan moves in to Tuscaloosa tomorrow. He will be in the building tomorrow.
He sure does.
I'm not saying that all the problems are solved now, but I think he's going to win the job. I know everybody thinks it's going to be Ty because he's been there 7 years and he hasn't been able to beat anybody out on 2 different staffs, but that's beside the point. I know everybody thinks he's going to get it just because of his dedication and he stuck around. That's not the case to me. He's going to get an equal opportunity to win the job, which he hasn't gotten. But I don't think he's going to do it. I think Keelan's going to win the job in the spring, and they're going to be like, we can't keep this guy off the field. He's too dynamic. He's too electric. Well, if Nico can play as a freshman, I think this kid can play as a freshman. I mean, I don't think he needs to sit a year.
Maybe, but I hark back to some of Nick Saban's comments about getting somebody in there and giving them time to learn and develop. And, I want to make sure that's happening too. Nico he showed raw talent, but I fear greatly that Tennessee fans are in the same boat Alabama fans have been in for 2 seasons and they don't realize it yet with Nico. And that's because he didn't get the time to sit back, learn at this level. We'll see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
The only way I think that happens is if Keelan knows the plan going in, like the Bryce Young plan. We could be looking at 2020, not the production or whatever. I'm not saying, but you're looking at a similar situation where I thought Bryce Young was going to win the job, and then COVID hit and everything got thrown off, and he went. Everybody was away, and it was kind of a different offseason. And then Mac Jones had one of the greatest seasons ever in the history of Alabama football. And Bryce, backed him up and then took the reins.
And I think there's some similarities between 2019 and 2020 that you're kind of seeing right now. Yeah. So maybe
this could be Ty's Mac Jones year.
It could be.
Well, he could go and have a great year, and Keelan has a solid backup, plays with some spot duty here and there, and then in 26, when Ryan Williams is a junior, and the receivers are all sophomores and juniors. Then, you see Keelan take the reins. But
it does make me a little nervous because Keelan's been pretty vocal about, I'm coming to start. They told me that they've got a plan for me to start. So we'll see.
But I think everybody is going to have an equal opportunity. Mac, Ty, and Keelan will all 3 have an equal share to win that job. I don't think that, Ty's going to get all the reps with the ones from day one because he's QB1, and that's that. I think that, at least I hope that people have a chance to compete for it.
Yeah. I just want whoever gives Alabama the best chance to win the game.
Yeah. Whoever runs the offense the best, that's who I want to play. I don't care.
I'm excited. I haven't given up on this DeBoer offensive system yet. I don't think you were able to see it.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think you were able to see it.
And I think that's a big reason why you didn't see any other quarterbacks play in that Michigan game. I think that the playbook is going to be so different come spring that they didn't want to run those guys out there for reps in an offense they're not going to be running in the spring.
Maybe. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Just let Jalen run it out, let him finish his career this way, play the whole game. We had an opportunity to win at the end. For some reason, we didn't run one single quarterback power run in all those 4 plays with 2 timeouts inside the 20. We threw 4 times, 4 incompletes, game over. Don't know the thought process there. But, I get why they let him play the whole game, and I think it's because out of loyalty to Jalen, but also hey, this offensive playbook's not even going to be the one we're using in spring. So
that's fair.
You guys don't worry about live game reps on this playbook because we're not even going to be using it.
Yeah. Offensive side, I think Alabama fields a top 3 defense next year. Agreed. With what they've kept, what they've got coming in, what they've got on the bench that's staying. You expect some more
players coming in this class too.
Yeah. expect some more exits in the spring because guys are going to realize they're not going to get starting positions. They're not going to play much. Right. With that defense, there is that opportunity, like Jeff was talking about earlier, to kind of rotate in and out and get some experience. So maybe it won't be so bad. But right now, I would imagine Bama's anybody they bring in defensively is for depth. They have everything they need to, barring injury, knock on wood, they have everything they need to be dominant, They finished with the number 1 overall total defense.
I mean, the defense was really coming into form the last month of the season. And, those young guys went through a lot of growing pains. We saw it earlier in the year, overthrows by the other team that would have been walk-in touchdowns had the throw been better, just because the DB was beat so bad. I think the teeth got cut this year, and they played pretty well. But you didn't see that happen in the last month of the year. You didn't see our DBs.
No. November was a good year defensively for Alabama. Yeah, November was a different defensive look. So, I'm with you, Jeff. I agree with you 100%.
I think the defense is primed, and if DeBoer can just get the offense lined up, we're going to be in good shape. The defense is, and they're hungry. They're almost like blood-hungry sharks, man. It's like they got a whiff
aggressive
at the end of the year of really what this defense can look like when everybody's playing well and everybody's clicking right and everybody's in the right spot and they're a few more reps, more familiar with the scheme. Just a few more reps each week, and then you start seeing, they start to get it. Oh, okay, and then you got a defense playing fast and furious.
Well, Bama's schedule next season sets up well for them to kind of get their legs under them. They go to Athens, I think, in week 4. I think it is. So you go to FSU, you get that loud road game, first game of the season out of the way, get a couple home games, and then you travel to Athens. And so that defense should be clicking by then. Secondary, I think, is going to be phenomenal. The linebacking core is going to be solid. I don't know that they'll be laterally as fast as they were last year without Jihad, but I'm sure there's somebody there that's got that speed from sideline to sideline.
You can't lose Jihad and get better as linebackers. I mean, we can replenish, but we're going to have a step off when you lose somebody of that caliber.
Sure. And then the defense, I think the pass rush, that defensive line and the pass rush will be better. So, and you're bringing in some studs, man. Dijon Lee, guys like that. Chuck McDonald at corner. It's just I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about it. I'm happy that we got this transition year out of the way. A lot of people use that terminology to kind of wash the taste out of their mouth after a bad season. But I mean, Alabama had a textbook transition year this year. So
textbook.
It's gone. We're moving on, and we're going to be talking a lot more about this 2025 roster.
Y'all pay attention to the offseason this year. It's going to be night and day different than the offseason of last year. You're going to see a lot of different things.
Yeah, probably no ice cream trucks.
No ice cream. I mean, you're going to see like now he can have an offseason his way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's here. It's his team. It's his program. His way or the highway now. There's no more loyalties.
Well, before we go, I want to say one more thing, and this is completely off the topic of the video. I know a lot of you Alabama fans out there are buying into a rumor about Alabama potentially bringing in Ryan Grubb as OC.
Glad you're touching on this.
Dude, listen, Alabama has an offensive coordinator. That offensive coordinator was at the Falcons game today with Kalen DeBoer watching Michael Penix Jr. play.
Play well. Too.
Yeah, Alabama's not going to get Ryan Grubb. I could be completely wrong. I believe this started with Lance Taylor.
Made the playoffs. What are you talking about? Why is he available? Seattle just made the playoffs.
Well,
Geno Smith had one of the best seasons of his career.
Black Monday.
Why are they going to fire him?
I don't know. But there's a reason that he wasn't in Tuscaloosa already, and I don't think he's coming. So, listen, give Sheridan
a shot. It's fun to talk about, but.
Yeah, give Sheridan a shot with a different quarterback, a potentially improved offensive line. It's going to be tough to replace Ty Booker, but they can do it.
Yeah.
And so
a lot of competition. Pritchett's out, so there's competition for some spots. I think left tackle and center are about the only two that are
deuces on Pritchett, but
that are locks. Yeah.
So, well, that's all I have. That's all we have. But before you go, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We do a lot of fun shows every other week. We do After Dark, which is an unhinged show that's unscripted. Talk about pretty much whatever you guys want to talk about. I believe we've talked about favorite movies. Favorite alcoholic beverages. I mean, we go. It's a man show.
It's fun.
It's
fun.
A man show. Then new shows every Thursday night as well. And then we're beefing back up our preloaded content. So you guys will get plenty of Alabama talk during the off season to hold you over. Before you know it, SEC Media Days will be here. I promise it'll go by fast. So stick around, like, subscribe, do the things. But in the meantime, Jeff and I are going to bounce and go, I don't know, do something. But as always,
get ready to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, basically. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too.
Tennessee too.
Roll Tide.